another great episode of Real Life Matters. Today I have somebody that's talking about wealth, real estate, more wealth, how to get wealthy, how to be wealthy. And yes, he's been on the show before, but now we're getting into it a little bit to delve in more into what he does. So without any, we're going to find out who is this man. And I'm going to let him introduce himself as he come on. Welcome.
Hi, the boss. Good evening. How are you?
I'm good. So I guess, of course, it's no other than Daniel Chin. So who is Daniel Chin?
Well, author of a new book called The Manifested Millionaire, which came out, towards the end of last year. And also, I am the owner of Chin Properties, which is my baby, basically. And of course, Chin Property Advisors Brokerage as well, which was newly formed as of 2019.
Well, I'm telling you, that's a big baby now. It must be walking.
It's been
walking for a while, running
almost 10 years of very hard work.
Wow.
The boss, yes.
To get where you are at.
Yes, and currently today we manage a portfolio of about 30 apartments, very high quality, and I would say it's nearing close to 8 digits, I would say. But I'm very grateful for all the clients and for everyone, who have known me for many years.
Why? And why do you think it's necessary to give the people some wealth, tips out there?
Well, I think because most people, they lack the knowledge, the boss, and most people who probably watch something on YouTube or read something in real life, it's not get rich quick, and you have to really do your studies or your due diligence, your homework before investing your hard-earned money into something to generate a return on your investment. And when you lack that knowledge or you're not prepared and you just dive in with 2 feet, you're gonna get washed away, or probably you're gonna lose money. And I hate to see people lose their hard-earned money.
Wow. Everybody, and if you don't know, well, you're going to know now that Daniel Chin is going to give everybody some wealth tips, RLM wealth tips from his book, a little piece of his book. Of course, you could go buy the whole book if you need to buy the whole book, but he's going to be giving it. You're going to be seeing a little short segments of him. There he is with his hair a little shorter because of COVID, I guess. Or maybe he's flaring a different kind of a look now. So.
Well, I was told to keep the hair long. It looks better, the boss,
Yeah.
but I think the hair salon closed.
well, no. You mean actually closed?
The one I used to go to, yes.
Yeah, but your hair looks good. You got a little kick there. It looks good, long too.
Well, I found another one in Hamilton, a nice Scottish woman who cuts my hair now.
Oh, well, she cut this pretty good. Did she just cut it or no? Or not really?
About 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago.
Oh, okay.
Back to the concepts. Thank you very much,
Daniel Chin is growing with me for so long. So he's evolved over the years, and 10 to 11 years.
And you're doing very well, the boss. You're doing very well. Yep, I'm very glad to see what you're doing today.
Yes, and and he was one of my first guests on one of my first episodes that I did way back. But he's going to be giving us some real in-depth, put your teeth in meat, so that so you could end up being a millionaire like him. I'm not saying it's going to come like today, tomorrow, but he'll tell you because he eats, breathes. Maybe he's taking a little setback now, but not very much. But this is what he does every day. So in order to be wealthy, he's going to give you some real delve in information. So we're going to take a brief break, and he's going to pick something he's going to talk about, and we're going to debate about it. All right. So everybody, we'll be right back right after this.
Station K98 Jams, hanging out with your girl T.
I'm Tanisha. I used to be in credit card debt, but now I'm finally free.
You got it. Y'all know what it is. It's your home station. Number one for blazing hip hop and R&B.
I was 18 years old when I got my first credit card. It only took me about 6 months to max it out.
Rhythm.
Blessed love from Barbados, or as we so beautifully like to say here on the island, what going on, lovely people? I'm Bugging Kente, the spirit of the people. I'd like to welcome you to the Rhythm Caribbean Top 10 Countdown, bringing you some of the hottest artists, songs, and videos from across the entire Caribbean. So stay tuned.
Work is good for the soul. It is. It is very good. So, Scott, this would have been, the last couple of weeks would have been when the Democrats would have had their convention, and now that it will not be a convention and the Republicans are having a convention, should Americans make something from that, one having a convention, others not?
I think they should draw that the Democrats at least are more COVID sensitive and smarter in the sense.
Well, we're back, everybody, with Daniel Chin of Chin Properties, Investments, Properties, Advisors. I see there's so many different avenues that you're taking now. So tell us what topic you're going to talk to us about today so we can debate you.
Well, I think what's on the front of everyone's mind is, do you buy or do you not buy? And I think more importantly, you have to, one of my wealth tips, if I was to give it away, is you have to buy undervalued properties. And most of the properties in the real estate market, also the stock market, a lot of people are very speculative, the boss. And it is similar to when things was at the high in 2016 and similar as 2005, 6, and 7. And we all know what happened in 2008. When things crash.
So what about when, now's the COVID time? Is it a good time for people to buy or, because we're all in the house and, with the restrictions. So is that something good to do right now?
So the answer is you can still buy, but don't forget your framework or your fundamentals when it comes to valuing properties. So you have to be very disciplined, focused, and very patient when it comes to selecting these good quality assets or properties in this case. And what I find is most people, because interest rate cut 3 times in March 2020, and their borrowing ability, they can borrow more money, they get all caught up in the hype. And, this whole frenzy in the real estate market has turned crazy. So, for example, in Toronto, in Danforth neighborhood, there was a property that came on the market and it was a 5-bedroom, 3 bathrooms listed for $1.6 million. In 2 days, the boss, guess how much that property sold in 2 days?
How much?
$2,250,000. So 2.25 million, right? So that's roughly about 620,000 above asking. And these are the things that you're seeing right now due to interest rates being very low and having pent up demand and of course low inventory in the market.
So would you suggest that people buy now, even if it's more because of the interest rates being down lower? Or, I think that's a little bit, don't you find that gouging a little bit of the economy or stuff like that if it's more money than it's supposed to?
The answer is yes. So assets are overvalued, and the government knows what's going on, and they're even thinking towards the end of this month to start putting cooling measures similar like what they did as of October 2016. And of course, we all know 2017, 2018, there was 5 interest rates hikes in total. So they will pay attention to what's going on, and when they see it is time to implement some cooling measures to cool things down, they will do so, and they can do so in various ways.
So will these markets being like that, will it impact people who are first-time buyers, because some of them can't even afford in the housing market right now to get their first home? So what do you think about that?
So absolutely, the first-time home buyers will be impacted. So similar what happened in 2016, and when they are priced out in the more expensive housing markets like Toronto, Markham, or some of the more expensive neighborhoods, then they flee to lower priced housing markets like Hamilton or more in the Southwest GTA.
Okay.
In towards Niagara Falls, where properties are still around 500,000, 600, 700,000, and we are seeing in Hamilton here an influx of people from Toronto.
Yeah, well, that's what I heard. A lot of people moving down there, or St. Catharines, or around that area. But I guess the market here, the high prices and stuff, are forcing people out of the Toronto area, the core of Toronto, because of these, the prices and stuff. But you think it's going to rise up over there where you guys are at now, or?
Yep, it is. So, for example, a duplex, where roughly about 2 years ago, 2019, was about, let's say, 500,000. Now these duplexes are going for about 700,000, the boss. Ooh. And prices have risen. However, I don't play the speculation game or the short-term game. I'm a long-term investor. So whether if a duplex is $1 million now, for me, it is the property stabilized, and is it cash flowing, and is there zero vacancies? Meaning the total rental income can service all the operating expenses of a property taxes, insurance, utilities, property management fees, and and any miscellaneous expenses, and also the monthly mortgage payments. So your bottom line, you have positive cash flow. So that is like your profits in the business. So it is extreme. Yep.
So what would a person do? Like if it's 2 people wanted to buy a property, would you suggest that they pool together to buy a building or buy a house, because some of them won't be able to afford it?
Well, some have, pooled together to, for me, when it comes to advising people how to join together, the key question is, who are you joining? Right? In my book, the chapter, business plus friends minus money equals disaster. Now, sometimes in some cases, people can get along just fine. They can know a new person for about 6-7 months, the boss, and then jump in bed with them very quickly. I don't jump into bed with people very quickly, like they say in business, okay? Right? You got to get to know the person.
Right.
And if the two heads are aligned, the vision is aligned, the goals is aligned, and of course, the business, how your strategy, what you're investing is everything is aligned, then you can go forth with that person. But in some cases, yes, I have seen people who are not family related or just friends, that they come together to try their first rental property together. Yeah.
So how do you, from your point of view, how do you see people who want to get wealthy like yourself, how do they get that money together? Like, what do you tell them to do? Like, so they can get at least something down, so they can get into the real estate in the investment game.
So first you need income, right? It is, don't believe in this whole no money down, and finding someone else who has money. You go earn the income. If you have to work a job and you save in about 2 years, let's say 50,000, right? Like I said, you can save 2,000 a month. In 1 year, that 12 months later, that's about 25,000. In 2 years, that's 50,000. That's about 10,000 down payment on a $500,000 property. So if you can do it all on your own, that's much better than trying to do it with family members or friends, or it's just less problems. And it is possible, so that with the income you can qualify for the mortgage. So you can on a $500,000, you'll be able to borrow another 400,000 in mortgage, and there you go, that's your first rental property. But
okay,
more importantly, it really is the
So don't believe this thing that no money down, because they're always saying that come in, no money down. So what, what's your take on that? Somebody had asked me when to ask you, what about the take on that would be?
So what I would say is you could do the no money down, right? More the
right?
creative ways of how people finance the property, yes. But don't go with the private lenders who are going to hold you by the neck and kill you and charge you like 10, 11, 12 interest rate points on money that is loaned to you. And then they hold all of your collaterals, etc. You have to really do your due diligence and start with something that is small, a small property. Don't start, like with a big deal over $1 million. Start with something small that you can handle.
Like a two-family dwelling or something like that. Or?
Two-family. If it is Hamilton, it's about in the 600,000-700,000. If you're in the Niagara Falls, it's probably still in the 400,000-500,000. So something that you feel comfortable with. Start small and then you go bigger. But it is possible, the boss, that you can start from nothing, but you need income. And once you purchase the first property, right, buying it at the right location, right price, right timing, and the right type of property, and then you get the ball rolling, and in year 2, year 3, you would have some equity built up in that property, and then you refinance, given you still have income, and then you can buy a second rental property.
So you're saying is right, and the time to buy is now for people that can?
You could buy now. One of the tips or principles I always say is don't wait to buy real estate and wait. However, you have to know that you have to be patient. Be very patient in this market that is getting overheated, and really be patient and disciplined to find those good quality assets. I was still buying properties in 2016, but my principle is you never buy a property to lose money. You always buy properties to make money. So meaning,
what would you say about that? When you're saying never buy a property to lose money, so how would you know exactly that's when they would come to you and ask you, or how would people know that? Because the general public doesn't know that.
Right. So that's where the knowledge and education comes in. They can give me a call, right? And I, because I assess deals every day, the boss. Okay. But sometimes, I get the ones who come, they call, and then they already, press the button. They made tons of mistakes. They overpaid for the property to begin with, so then they don't have much buffer or safety margin, right, in their investment. And then when it comes to renovation, they made all the mistakes, and now they're over budget. And of course, time is money in this business. And when you don't know what you're doing, you lose money. if you know what you're doing, conversely, you make money. So I've seen, and of course, I can't do much because they're already,
So they're trying to backpedal, but it's nothing to backpedal with.
there you go. They're already plunged into the whole,
Off the bicycle.
Yep. So what so for those who, went forth and didn't know what they were doing, I just tried to advise them, try to lose less money and just make it up in the next deal.
Pick up, like in one scenario, like how would they pick up themselves from that? I guess to get pretty, do they want to sell? Do you tell them to sell the property, or what do you tell them to do?
I tell them to get the job done and try, and of course, to dispose the asset, right? Because sometimes it may not be the right investment strategy in the right location. For example, if it is, you're trying to do a bunch of, multifamily properties with more than one apartments, but the neighborhood, the only demand in that neighborhood is homeowners who are living in a single family home, then it's not the right strategy for the right location. You may want to try to just renovate it as a single family, rent it as a straight single family rental, or maybe do a renter own strategy. If it is a property with more than one apartments, you go in the neighborhood or the area or the market area where there's very high demand for multifamily apartments, which in the case is where I'm situated in downtown Hamilton. So yeah, you got to know what you're doing. If you want to do student rentals, you go to McMaster University. All the students are there. That's student territory. You have to know what you're doing at the boss. You don't want to lose your hard-earned money.
Well, that's why people are coming to you, and that's what we're bringing back on the show. But anyways, we're just going to take a brief moment, and we'll be right back with more with Daniel Chin.
So you guys been knowing each other for quite some time, right?
Correct.
All right. So how long you been knowing each other?
I ain't really keep track, but I think I know him from the hood. He's younger than me, but I started hearing about him and then found out about him, got straight with him, whatever. There's a lot of history behind it, but I've been knew him from the hood. I met him, like, he came to our studio because we had a studio in the hood.
Sons and daughters of St. Lucia, love the land that gave us birth, land of beaches, hills and valleys, fairest isle of all the earth. But do we take this Helen of the West for granted? Do we allow strangers to come evaluate our precious stone while we only admire her beauty in glossy magazines?
In today's video, I'm sharing with you my recipe for a curry bean curd stick with pigeon peas, black pepper, and add salt to taste. You can always adjust after. In goes some chopped scallions, celery, onions, tomatoes, minced garlic, hot peppers and pimento peppers.
We were introduced to Wes Hall, and I met with Wes. We spoke about the company, where we had gotten to. We were already in Sobeys. We were looking at expanding, and up to that point, we were self-funded. Wes was pretty interested in us being a Caribbean Black-owned company. So Wes came on board and really helped us expand the company.
We're back here with Daniel Chin. I'm telling you, boy, you're learning some stuff here today. So I wanted to ask you, and somebody had just texted me and told me to come in. So what happens to somebody when they, you just briefly touched on it, when they made a bad investment, and then, you say that you don't know what to do. You tell them to sell or lease to own. But what do you tell them at that point?
At the point
they already purchased the property, because you probably get a lot of those. They already purchased it. Maybe they had it for a year or two. Nothing has happened. Then they come to you. Then they just say, here they are, showed up in your office.
Yep. So very simple. First thing I ask is, what is the property address? Number one. Number two, do you own the property? Okay. So if you're not very specific and you're very vague, I cannot help you. But if you are prepared and then you say you own the property, because there's many come to me, the boss, and talk all over the place, but they don't even own the property. They haven't even look at the property yet. Okay, so do you own the property? Okay, yes. So I'll give you a very specific example. Last year, this was around September. I wouldn't say his name. Bought a bungalow in the Hamilton Mountain. I would say he overpaid for it, and he wanted to make it into convert it to a duplex, to 2 apartments. So apartment above, apartment below. And the after repair value, after you do renovation, let's say it is only around 530,000, but doesn't have much buffer to make a profit. And the ideal strategy, to execute, to actually make money, well, not at the point when he calls me, is to, so when he told me all the things he was doing, I told him, why did you do this and that? Because he got rejected 3 times from the building permits department, right? And had to resubmit. And then during the COVID-19 times, there was delays and et cetera, et cetera. So maybe as around now and this time, right, this year, you should be able to get it done and put the property back on the market for spring and, get rid of it and hopefully lose less money, right? So
that's nice. So you guys, everybody's going to be hearing a lot from Daniel Chin. I'm telling you, we learned so much in this episode right here. And so where can people, if they want to ask you some questions before they get invested or anything like that, where can they find you at? Stuff like you're going to see a lot of Daniel Chin. He's going to be doing some RLM real wealth tips, how to be wealthy in real estate, and that's Daniel Chin Property. So tell people where they can find you at, Daniel.
You can find me at chinproperties.com, or you can, my email is Daniel P as in Paul, my name, chin@gmail.com. Yep.
Well, Daniel, I tell you, this has been another great episode. I tell you, time goes fast.
I know it went very fast. I wanted to share at least 5 principles for your audience, but I'm, not
but
sure
it's
if you're
okay.
covering that.
We'll get you in. We'll get you in with the health tips. So we could just bring you right back in later, so you could share those tips. But anyways, I do want to thank you for tuning in today to Real Life Matters. I do thank you guys. Follow me. You can see all the information on the screen. You can follow Daniel and everything else. So everybody, I do thank you for tuning in today, and CaribVision, all the 12 million people that are watching. We, reach out. Just because you're not in Canada, you can still reach out to him in the Caribbean and stuff and ask questions about if you want to get property anywhere in the Caribbean, and maybe he'll like to go down there with you. So anyways, bye for now.
Thank you.